And this morning, we're privileged to be joined by Dominic Naab, who's Assistant Commissioner and Technical Aide to the Commissioner General. He's in here with us. We'll get into him shortly. But first, Surfline is giving you 60 gigabyte free data when you buy a new device. And ever wondered how many hours of free data that is? Well, it's 24 hours for your favorite movies or series on Netflix or YouTube in HD quality for free, 1,523 hours to stream any of your hip life, high life, rap, reggae, jazz, balogu, and any genre of music for free, and 200 hours of WhatsApp or FaceTime calls to connect with family and friends for that concern for free. 20 hours to host your video conferences or Zoom or whichever video application you use. Time, is everything and is the hours that count. Let Surfline be the power behind your need to connect, learn, and be entertained for longer hours than any network. Buy your Surfline device from Surfline shops and retail outlets today. Nothing works better than Surfline. Surfline, better together. Mr. Dominic Naab, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Hope you're doing very well.
To God be the glory.
Amen. And the collection of taxes going on well?
Yeah, everything is on course.
Let me say congratulations to you. We've been talking about how you exceeded your target last year. The fact that you exceeded by some 200 million Ghana cedis. And, even though there was COVID, we had moved from 2020 into 2021, still COVID affecting as you were able to achieve it. What did you do right, resulting in your ability to exceed your target?
Let me just start by saying that thank you very much. And we owe this to our taxpayers and to Ghanaians, in general, for the achievement of the target. What I would say is that it's a combination of many factors.
Okay.
One, given the fact that Ghana Revenue Authority is headed by a reverend, I would say God actually played a very big role. At every meeting of ours, my boss, that is the Commissioner General, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Osama, will say that, let's pray. So God actually played a role. That apart, hard work has actually contributed to the success. If you see GRA staff working under the blazing sun, trying to collect revenue, sometimes we stay into the night, up to 10 o'clock, working, then it tells you that we really are sacrificing to be able to collect for the nation. And again, I also talk about leadership. From the Minister of Finance, they provided right leadership, and then the board, the top management, and all leaders within GRA actually played a role. Then we also put in place what we call interventions.
Okay.
Yes. What we realized was that there was a need to actually create some convenience for our taxpayers. So we decided to go online, filing, online payment.
Okay.
And it has a salutary effect in the fact that it also has some bearing on revenue. Even though we are creating convenience for taxpayers, we are also increasing revenue. Can you imagine you sit in the comfort of your home and file your tax returns instead of walking to Ghana Revenue Authority and making your payment instead of walking to Ghana Revenue Authority? That is quite, significant. Then we also decided to roll on to what we call the cashless. As we said now, GRA does not accept, money being paid directly to it. You can do that through our banks, through Momo and what have you. This has also significantly, played a part in the achievement of our revenue. Again, we also embarked on serious enforcement measures. Prosecutions here and there, and then also, placing garnishee order on accounts of persons who actually owed. Then also remember that we had this amnesty, that is interest and penalty, waiver. That also played an important role.
I mean, you've talked about a few things that played important roles. You've talked about the waiver of penalties and interest. You've talked about, the cashless systems. You've talked about, the online filing.
Let me just even state one, which is the ICAM. That's the integrated custom, management system. Hitherto, clearing was done, using human efforts and whatnot. But with the ICAMs, which was introduced in 2020, we have now seen a situation where, clearance is done much more quicker than it used to be. Is that okay? And again, importers can now access their information and even pay. Hitherto, it was done by agents. So all these things have actually created some convenience for our taxpayers, and they are yielding to our call to pay tax.
So yes, we've exceeded the target. You said these things. Is it like something you believe would have worked for you, or you've done the analysis, you've looked at the figures, and you've said, well, initially, so in the case of ICOMs, we can always check and say, prior to ICOMs, we're receiving this amount of, monies at our points of entry. With the coming into force of ICOMs, this is what we've gotten. And you've also said, but for the, waiver of penalties and interest, this is how much came to us. Could you share some of those details with us?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the data in terms of numbers to tell you, especially the ICOMs. But what I can say is that significantly, I mean, given the fact that customs has been exceeding its target for the past 2 years, tells you clearly that the introduction of ICOMs has played an important role. Then when it comes to the amnesty, in fact, a lot of taxpayers actually responded. Can you imagine a situation where you are asked that arrange or pay your principal, amount of taxes, and then the interest and penalty will be actually, forgiven? A lot of people responded, and I can say that at least we were able to raise about 1 billion, from this exercise.
Okay, but is it something you're going to continue for those who have been defaulting? Are we going to say, well, just come and pay? We no longer would take the penalties and interest from you?
Taxation is governed by law, and when the amnesty ended, fortunately, it has been extended. So as we speak now, up to 30th June 2022, this year, if you still have a penalty and interest, you can take advantage of it. But beyond that, that becomes very difficult. Because taxation, as I said, is governed by law. Once the law is in place, yes, you can take advantage. But once it is closed, that ends the matter.
And talking about law, it's important we do this. So we know that there's been, and one of the things we say is that the difficulty with taxation or tax is that you may not know all the laws. There are a lot of reviews, and sometimes they go through Parliament, and because they're not brought to your attention, you may not know. You may think that, okay, so this is the rate that is applicable to me. However, that may have changed. Over the period, what have been some of the amendments to the existing acts and the new laws that have been passed in relation to taxes?
Yeah, thank you very much. For the Ghana Revenue Authority, when it comes to amendments and review of laws, at least we are on top. What we have done over the period is that anytime we see a law not being so clear, what we do is that we try to actually come up with practice notes to clarify it. And then sometimes taxpayers also request for what we call private ruling or class rulings. When they do that, we respond. Beyond that, I mean, government, in the last budget made certain interventions in terms of the tax regime. For example, when it comes to VAT, hitherto we had what we call the retailers and wholesalers being on the Vat Flat Rate scheme, that is paying VAT at the rate of 3%, or charge at the rate of 3% and paying to Ghana Revenue Authority. And then manufacturers and service providers were on the standard rates. But that has been reviewed as we speak now. What it is that we are using the threshold. Your taxable supply, if it exceeds 200,000 but doesn't exceed 500,000, then you are put on the flat rate if you are a retailer. Now, if you are not a retailer, you are a wholesaler, manufacturers, automatically they fall under the VAT, the standard rate. That is, they will charge VAT at a rate of 12.5. So this is quite significant. So what we have done is that we have come up with guidelines to actually direct how things are supposed to be done. And Ghana Revenue Authority is also reviewing all taxpayers in terms of their turnover to see those who qualify, and then quickly we write to them and migrate them accordingly so they begin to charge the right tax. So that is on account of VAT. Again, we also have our local manufacturers, textile manufacturers. They have also been given some exemption when it comes to the VAT.
Okay.
Are you getting it? And it is up to 2023. So it's a sunset clause. That is to say, when it gets to that year, government may have to review it and probably take a decision on it. Then we have this, what we call presumptive tax or modified taxation. It's in our law. We are just actually looking at how to actually practicalize it so that it doesn't actually hurt the economy. But there has also been an amendment to it. What it is that we are saying once you are not registered for VAT or you cannot register for VAT and your turnover exceeds 20,000 but it doesn't exceed 500,000, what we are saying is that you automatically belong to what we call a presumptive tax, regime.
Okay.
So in that case, your duty is just to charge tax at a rate of 3% of your turnover. Is that okay? Having said that, professionals or persons that have multiple business outlets or have a business that has high, profit ratio, they certainly will not belong. Is that okay? They would belong to what we call the modified, cash regime. But even with the modified cash regime, it is actually cash, method. Just that there are some restrictions. That is to say, they can't apply the accruals method. Then again, they can also benefit from what we call the quantification.
And when you say they can't apply the accruals method, what are you referring to?
What we are saying is that when it comes to accounting, we account on either cash or accruals. When we say accruals, what it means is that what has been received and what is receivable, you take account of it. What has been paid and payable, that is you are committed to paying, you would bring it into your accounts. But when it comes to cash,
in effect, when the transaction occurs.
Okay, yes, when the transaction occurs, that is what we call the cash, accounting. You have paid, you have received. That is what you actually take note of.
Okay. So let's look at the income tax review, the new rates that we're talking about, because a lot of people have asked the question, what's this all about? And employees are saying, we don't understand. I mean, is it going to inure to my benefit or to my it's going to be to my disadvantage? Help us understand the new income tax rates.
Okay, so what it is that taxation, as I said, is governed by law, and the law tells us clearly how we should apply, the taxes. Some have what they call a flat rate, but in the case of self-employed and individuals, in general, including employees, they use what we call the individual tax rates. Others call it the graduated tax rates, to apply to their income. Now, what government does is that periodically government reviews the rates. Is that okay? Just so they are able to provide what we call a safety valve, for persons who really are suffering. Okay. So they try to actually look at the bands and increase them accordingly. So as we speak now, every worker, in fact in January, if you have been paid, you have seen some marginal increase in your salary. Is that okay? It doesn't mean that your employer has increased your salary. What it means is that government has reviewed its rates. The ban on the income for which tax rates are applied. And that would inure to your benefit by way of marginalism. But for those who are down there, whose income levels are not too high, they would have seen significant increase. For them, they will smile all the way to the bank.
Well, I saw the increase you're talking about. That was a minimum. For some of us, would say that's negligible.
I'm not sure you have taken time to analyze it. What you have to do is that take your December salary, take your January, and then you can just oppose.
Well, I've done the analysis. And when I did the analysis, I realized that, well, I mean, it's okay. But if we're to compare it to those down there, this is very insignificant. And so, in effect, this is a way of cushioning the employee. And so he or she is going to be getting a bit of, assistance. Okay, but let's look at the changes that have been made to the withholding tax for the sale of unprocessed gold, because we're looking at, being able to generate revenue and all of that. There's been some changes to it. What are those changes?
Yeah, so significantly, when it comes to unprocessed sale of gold, initially, in fact, when the principal act was passed, it was 10%. Then it was reviewed to 3%. Is that okay? So that tells you clearly that government listens. Then again, there has been the need to actually review. So as we speak now, it is 1.5%.
What's that need that led to the review?
Oh, I think that a lot of factors actually come into play. But the point is that, one, government must actually listen. And two, feedback is also very, very important. Is that okay? So for us in GRA, we are mandated to collect revenue. But as and when the economic circumstances become so distant, then the taxpayers engage government, and government will bring us in to listen. So I think it is in the course of this engagement that government decided, okay, fine, let's review it so that at least the tax burden will not be so high. So I'm sure that is the reason for which it was actually reviewed.
Okay. Now, one of the things we realized last year was that we had vehicle income tax, being suspended. What's happening this year? Has it been brought back? Because we're told it was going to be suspended for the second, third, and fourth quarters of 2021. We're in the first quarter of 2022.
So thank you very much. Let me just put this information clearly. some commercial vehicles, is that okay, actually got that respite, the suspension that we are talking about. But it had to do with second, third, and fourth quarters of 2021.
Yes.
What it means is that they should have actually fulfilled their obligation of paying the first quarter.
Yeah.
And two, if there are other obligations that they need to actually make to the Commissioner General, they must also make that before they can benefit from this. So it's conditional. Then it also became very clear per the budget, which has been passed into law now, to also give them that respite for first quarter, second quarter. It's a sunset clause. What it means is that government may decide to review it. If it's not reviewed, then that ends the story. Is that okay? And this is actually in response to the COVID pandemic. That's actually created a lot of problems, for us. So government thinks that, look, if it is able to do this, then it will create some kind of comfort, for the commercial vehicle owners as well as even the traveling public.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they'll be able to tell whether it's created some comfort for them. But you were talking about the VAT flat rate. Now, some say, and I need to take you to that because the flat rate, 3%, is it still 3% or it's a 4%?
The VAT flat rate is 3%. But what happened last year was that 1% was introduced to actually help us raise money to fight this pandemic that has become an albatross around our necks. You would agree with me that, every nation is actually responding to how they can actually curb this menace. So in Ghana, we thought that there was a need to actually introduce 1%. Is that okay? On goods, services, and imports. It is not on income tax. Is that okay? So that we can raise money and use that money to be able to actually fight this pandemic. So that is what it is. Otherwise, the VAT rate for the flat rate is 3%.
So there's a 1% that has been added.
Exactly.
So that makes
but it is not for VAT. I just want to put that one clearly.
Yeah, but it's been added to
as part of
collection
mechanism.
As part of collection
mechanism. Yeah.
So if you were to, non-technically say 4%.
No, I will not say that because technically that is not correct.
As I said, non-technically.
That's fine.
Okay, because the question was non-technical.
Okay, that's fine.
I didn't want us to go into the technicalities of it. That's why I said that. Well, my guest this morning is Dominic Naab, who is Assistant Commissioner at the Ghana Revenue Authority. He's a technical aide to the Commissioner General, and he's joined us this morning. And as part of the Ghana Revenue Authority's tax education, they're having a conversation with us, helping us understand all the things they've been doing and also, how they are able to raise more revenue. A lot of us have been having this conversation and we've talked about the need to raise more revenue. And so let's look at something. We started by commending you for your ability to exceed targets. Now, this year, I want to know what you're going to do to ensure that you meet your target one and also exceed your targets.
Yeah, so in fact, what we are going to do will not be significantly different from what we did last year, given that last year we met our target. So those measures would actually be consolidated and widened. What we have also realized is that there are a lot of persons who are actually not on our radar. So we are ensuring that we are able to bring all persons on board. And the Ghana card is actually playing a very significant role in this area, where we are able to identify persons, and then after that we'll promote what we call compliance. Is that okay? So that is what we are doing. And then also, remember, this COVID has actually taught us one lesson, that most businesses are now moving into the cyberspace. Is that okay? And then the e-commerce world. We are actually putting our acts together to ensure that we are able to raise revenue from that area as well.
As it stands, you're unable to do that?
We are, but we want to do it much better. Are you getting it?
I am interested in we are. How are you able to do it? And when you say we want to be able to do it much better, how do you want to make it better?
You see, the point is this. You are running a business. Is that okay? And let me even step back. One has to do with what we call integrity. When it comes to this business of tax payment, integrity is very, very important.
Okay.
There are persons who on their own, is that okay, will tell us that, look, in their fiscal business world, this is how much they make. When it comes to the cyberspace, this is how much they make. They are able to tell us. There are others who are unable to tell us, But we have a way of trying to actually, I don't think you would want me to disclose that. So we also have a way of trying to actually, get around it. But we are also trying to leverage our IT. Is that okay? To be able to do much more than we are doing. Because if all businesses are, for example, if you are running a business, I come and see in your warehouse a stock of, goods. All of a sudden, there's no stock, yet you are in business. What it means is that you are either operating what we call just-in-time, method, or you are, engaging in the cyber world. So we would try to actually ensure that we run after you to be able to get, our revenue.
Talking about people paying taxes, and the finance minister has always said this, that 2.7, 2.8 million, adults out of the 18 million who could qualify to pay income tax, for instance. And he's talked about how that is woefully inadequate. And every time we've talked about widening the tax net or expanding the tax net, it's one of the things we're focused on. I remember, for instance, when we had conversations about the need to open bank accounts with tax identification numbers, the need to register Olmo with tax identification numbers. At the time, the conversations with Dr. Ibrahim Bediye, may his soul rest in peace, was that this was a fantastic way of being able to monitor earnings and for the Ghana Revenue Authority to, if necessary, raise flags and say, we need to understand what you're doing. And if these earnings qualify for taxes, those taxes are paid. I want to understand how you are able to actually increase the collection of particularly income taxes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me eulogize the effort initiative of government by asking that we actually merge with the Ghana card. Now, if you look at the law, the GRA at the time was mandated to actually issue tax identification numbers for taxpayers. We're doing that. Is that okay? Now, using our mechanism, trying to actually, appeal to the masses to register, and trying to register the existing taxpayers that, we had. But when we realize that a lot of persons, when I say I'm talking of the government, in general, realize that a lot of persons were going into obtaining the Ghana card, there was a need to actually create that measure. And I can assure you that when we did, we realized that there were a lot of persons who had registered for Ghana card but had not registered with Ghana Revenue Authority.
Okay.
That tells us potentially there are some taxpayers we can unearth from that exercise. Now, we are doing something about it, and potentially we have seen that we have about 12 million persons who were not on our tax radar. And we are trying to actually screen, and we have realized that about 10 million actually are income earners. So if you look at our law, Commissioner General has a mandate to identify taxpayers, which has been done. The next stage is to now promote compliance. Write to them, invite them to come and actually file. Then on that basis, we can go ahead and determine the taxes that they are supposed to pay. So I can tell you that this exercise is quite useful. It's helping us be able to actually raise the numbers.
So the 10 million that are income earners, if you deduct, so let's look at those who are...
There are persons we think are income earners.
You think are income earners.
But you see, so there are some incomes that are not taxable.
So currently, how many people do you think are income earners?
No, I'm talking from the exercise.
From the exercise that you did?
Yes.
Realize that there are 10 million people.
So as I speak now, our people are looking at it carefully, identifying them, and writing to them to respond. You see, the exercise, when it comes to tax, you have to be very careful that you don't impose tax on the persons who are not liable.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So that is quite very important. It is not for us to just say that because you are, a human being living in Ghana, we have to go after you. No, we don't do that.
Great. And as part of this education also, it's important for that person listening to us who probably may not know he or she is an income earner to know. So when you say people we think or believe are income earners, who are they?
Who is an income earner? An income earner is any person who is having income. Now, when you have income, it behoves us to now find out how are you making your income? Is it through gifts? If it is gifts are subject to tax. And I'm sure Christmas you got a lot of gifts. You in particular.
I didn't hear that.
So we expect you to come and to pay. Number two, there are some persons who are also working. These days, you don't necessarily need to have a physical office. You can work in your bedroom. So once we see that, no, above 18 years, is that okay? You are not in school. Even if you are in school, there are persons who are in school and are earning income. So we have to actually marshal all our methods to drill down through effective and efficient interview and be able to elicit, as to whether you really are earning income or not earning income.
Okay, so that's something that you're doing. Great. And so based on all of these, I just want to know, I like the fact that I am happy when we, exceed targets. I'm happy when GRA says we've exceeded our targets, because then it means that we're doing something right. And all things being equal, we wouldn't have to bring new taxes here and there. So based on all of these, you're sure that 2022, you meet the targets? Right?
So to do what?
You meet your revenue targets.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe so, because we have hit the ground running, and we are not taking it for granted, because honestly speaking, if you look at the target, it's quite big. Is that okay? So what we have done is to, within ourselves, see how we can increase efficiency within ourselves, and to also try to leverage on technology. Even this interview is quite, useful. Is that okay? To be able to help us, go that path. Government has also extended the amnesty, which for me would also, give us big response when it comes to tax payment. And again, we have also put in place what we call our prosecution unit is up and doing and running. We also have a tax court now. So what it means is that cases which border on taxes will be dealt with expeditiously.
Okay.
So we believe all these things, together with what we have been doing, would actually help us be able to raise the needed revenue. But we are counting on you.
Very, very important. That's why we have in this conversation. Now, folks, you can join the conversation. Would read all the messages that you send to us, all your questions via WhatsApp on 055-111-997 and on Twitter using the hashtag JoySMS. Now, Pakofi from Lakeside says, please, when Dominic Naab says they're using cyberspace to get e-commerce businesses to pay tax, what does he mean? Please, can you ask him to elaborate more on that?
What we are saying is that we are trying to tax persons who are on the cyberspace business or businesses. Is that okay? That is e-commerce and what have you. There are a lot of persons who do things online and they are making money. Is that okay? So they are those we are trying to actually get them on board.
Even though they're making money, and once they make money, they must pay taxes.
No, see, when it comes to tax, clearly, we look at tax based on whether you are resident or non-resident. And if you are a resident, your global income is subject to tax in Ghana. So if, for example, you get consultants in Italy, then you go and do the job there, you even decide not to bring the money to Ghana here, we'll still tax you, because the law says that once you are a resident, your global income. Now, when it comes to non-resident, the law says that income that is accrued and derived from Ghana, that is sourced in Ghana, will be subject to tax in Ghana. Now, if we have resident persons who are working in the cyberspace, are raising revenue, are raising or getting income, obviously they become subject of, of interest as far as taxation is concerned.
Okay. And so, Pakofi, I hope, I think what Pakofi wants to know, for instance, is that, so those persons, the income they raise, for instance, how much of it must they pay as taxes to you? I'm sure he needs to get some bit of a clarification on that.
No, so what we need to do is to appreciate whether they are individuals or they are, companies. Is that okay? Now, if they are individuals, we use the individual tax rates. If you are companies, so depending on the business that you find yourself, the tax rates are not actually fixed. Is that okay? Otherwise, the marginal tax rate is 25%.
Okay. Now, let's get to another important aspect. And we'll be reading more of your questions shortly. So we've read in the papers that the authorities are undertaking a data collection exercise on properties. Help us understand this. Because we know that the Ghana Statistical Service has just finished with its, population and housing census. And then we are told that the Ghana Revenue Authority is also conducting something similar. Help us understand what exactly you're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to point it out clearly that when it comes to rental income taxation, it is not something new. It has been with us for a very long time. We tax persons who earn income from renting out residential properties and persons who rent out commercial properties, we tax them. Now, what we have done is that we want to actually enrich our database. We have the data already, but we are enriching it. Day in and day out, people are putting up buildings. Day in and day out, people are actually reconstructing, rehabilitating, and doing all kinds of things. We need to actually, gather data on that. Number two, there probably were even persons who were renting their properties. Now, those properties are now being housed by renters. So they can't pay tax. We need to also take that one out of our database. That is exactly what we are doing. So it is actually geared towards promoting compliance when it comes to our rental, income taxation. Now, you mentioned that Ghana Statistical Service, did that. Fine, they might have done it for some purposes, but we are doing it just mainly for income taxation.
Can you liaise with them, because that's going to cost you? Maybe we can have those savings if we liaise with the Ghana Statistical Service and they give us the data.
No, that data may not serve our interest, because as I said, we are looking at who is the owner and who are the occupants. Are you getting it? And picking details, about them. I'm not sure that is what they did. So if we want to use that data, we still may not actually be able to help ourselves. That is how come we are doing it. And remember, it is not as if persons from Accra here are moving around doing it. We have our offices littered all over, and that is what they are doing, for us. And thankfully, we have this NABCO, staff who are working with us, and we appreciate their effort so much. So they are helping us in that exercise, being coordinated and supervised by superior officers.
Still live here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM, and this morning, friends from the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dominic Naab, who's Assistant Commissioner and is the technical aide to the Commissioner General, has joined us in studio. We're having a conversation about taxes, and he's telling us, what they've done in the past and what they intend doing to ensure that a lot of us get to pay taxes from our earnings. If you have any question, you can send it to us. Join us on Twitter using the hashtag JoySMS. You can also join us on WhatsApp on the WhatsApp number 05511119997. We'll go for some few messages. When we return, we'll get to read some of your questions and then ask further questions, particularly on what their preparations are if the e-levy is passed. We'll be right back.
Step up your entertainment from the 5th of January 2022. Already on GoTV Value? Then upgrade to GoTV Plus to watch GoTV Max. Or if you're on GoTV Plus, upgrade to GoTV Max to enjoy GoTV Super. Don't wait. Reconnect and step up your GoTV package today via the My GoTV app. Remember, we upgrade you to the next higher package for free. Terms and conditions apply. GoTV. Love it.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Foreman, how can I say the screening be smooth, perfect, where it dey dry fast like that?
Contractor, I always dey tell you say interface self-leveling screen be the best solution. It dey dry fast, where it dey make the job neat. In fact, it pass analog. This be original digital interface self-leveling screen.
Hey, babe, I hear you, interface man.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274 9999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook Interface Limited GH. Instagram Interface.limited. I don't understand, Okweku.
You go understand. Watch me. I go sell this NASCO TV at a higher price again.
So this expensive Samsung fridge, where them tear the price top come down drastically like that, you know?
Don't you know what is going on? This February, Electroland Ghana Limited is offering massive discount bazaar. Up to 80% discount off.
Where be the location?
Listen.
Are you looking for quality home electrical appliances? Come for your Samsung, Toshiba, NASCO, and media products. Electroland Ghana Limited will be on the Sprintex Road from the 10th to the 13th of February, adjacent Bank of Ghana near the Flower Pot, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Yes, it's a massive discount bazaar. Up to 80% discount off. EGL is clearing out its stock. These electronic and home appliances are a mixture of brand new, slightly used, scratch, showroom display, and dented. So make it a date. Terms and conditions apply.
Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, so welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And look, let me tell you about the Allianz MTN partnership. That's the Allianz for Life product. Now, the life insurance solution you need is here. Allianz Life and MTN have partnered to bring you a world-class life insurance product called Allianz for Life. Now, to sign on, dial *170# on MTN, and we have a surprise just for you. So pick up your phone and dial *170#. Follow the prompts, and let's get you and your loved ones covered. For more information, call Allianz Life Insurance on 0302-267-892 or visit our website, allianz-gh.com. Allianz for Life, Mato for me life. Great. So, we still have Dominic Naab here with us, who is Assistant Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority and Technical Aid to the Commissioner General. A lot of you are sending messages to us right here on the Super Morning Show. So, let's get into it and begin to, ask all your questions for you. Now, Abu Tahir says, if they are charging online businesses, it's not fair. Why don't they tax the platforms we do the businesses on? That's Facebook, Jumia, etc.
Yeah, thank you very much. While we're on the break, I tried to actually get in touch with our rent desk. And what I was told was that they actually picked the data, from Ghana Statistical Service, and they are building on it.
So that becomes the base?
That becomes the base.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay.
Abu Tahir asked the question. He said, if you're charging online businesses, it's not fair. Why don't you tax the platforms that they use?
Yes. I think that if he listened to me carefully, we are talking about income earners. So the businesses, are they earning income? If they are earning income, they have to pay. The platforms, are they also earning income? If they are earning income, they have to pay. But remember that for us, our law is quite clear. It says if you are a resident, your global income is subject to tax in Ghana. If you are not a resident, it is income that is accrued and derived from Ghana. That is what we can tax. So what he said, yes, he's making income. So if he's making income, it's not about being fair or not being fair. It's about the law. Okay. And he should also remember that when he makes losses, the law allows him to also deduct those losses from future incomes.
Franz Alex says, if GRA has identified 10 million people who are potentially taxable but aren't paying taxes, can GRA put in place a system to tax them so those who are already paying, so those who are already being taxed and then taxable don't have to pay e-levy? But I think the question here is,
I understand.
Yeah, why don't you get monies from these persons?
Yeah, so if you look at the penalty and the interest, waiver act, that has been extended. What it means clearly is that if you are not paying your taxes, is that okay? There's an opportunity. The interest and penalty, just disclose, and then would actually waive them, and then you pay the taxes. So that is what it is. So they have opportunity to pay. Is that okay? Now, when it comes to the fact that this one should actually take care of e-levy, that is not, the issue. The issue is that we have identified them. Is that okay? And I'm sure government in this revenue projection had in mind that we will be able to unearth this number of persons. Is that okay? So let's stick to what we have. Okay. And when we get there, we'll cross.
Ohiniba Kweku says, good morning, Winston. Please ask Mr. Dominic Naab if medicines will continue to be exempt under VAT.
I can only talk about today. As for going forward, it is not for me to make. I don't have that competency. Is that okay? So what it is for now is what we have to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Ken from Osu says, is the letter making rounds about they preparing to implement e-levy true? I'm sure you've seen that letter.
Yes, boss. It is true. It is true. It is true. The fact of the matter is that for us in GRA, we have to actually put in place a system so that when it is passed, it doesn't become a surprise. So we are doing house, cleaning. So assuming it is passed, what do we do? Are you getting? That's what we are doing. So
I'm sure Ghanaians will like the assuming it is passed more than the when it is passed. Because so there's a possibility.
Yeah,
that
no,
it
but
may
see,
not be passed.
let's also. I mean, we are in. This is our country. This is the only country that we have. So whatever we need, if people have other suggestions, they should bring it on board, and I'm sure government will be interested.
Okay, so let me. We'll do more of the messages shortly, But there's this one that says that look, how ready is the authority to implement the e-levy if passed?
We are more than ready. We are more than ready. What we have done is, I see, for us in Ghana Revenue Authority, we have a simple mandate. Is that okay? To administer taxes. That is all that there is to it. It hasn't been passed into law. It's just a bill. Is that okay? So we have picked the bill. We have looked at the bill. But we know that if it is passed, there will be some, changes. Is that okay? So we only just need to tweak our system to be able to actually accommodate it. So we are conscientizing ourselves. We are trying to understand, the system. We are looking at other areas, how they are doing it. And I can tell you, we will get there.
We will get there.
We'll get there.
You are very much prepared. There's no problem at all.
By the grace of God.
I like how you talk about the grace of God all the time. There's a question from Kofi, and I'll leave that to you whether you want to answer it. It says, will revenue generation suffer without e-levy?
I think it's a policy question. So Minister of Finance can best answer that.
Okay. You don't want to address that. Anyway, Dominic Naab is Assistant Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority, joining us this morning here on the Super Morning Show. But, we've looked at all the things you've done in the past. I want us to conclude on what you're going to do this. You started by talking about, we're going to, continue with what we did last year. But are there any new things you're going to be introducing this year as a way of increasing revenue generation?
Yeah, we would deepen and widen. Let me explain. When it comes to tax education, it's okay. We've been doing it, but we are going to widen it. We may have to get in touch with the traditional, rulers to actually assist us because they have persons that they preside over. Once they understand and then they actually buy into what we are doing, I'm sure they will be able to carry our messages, across. Then, number 2, the tax amnesty that has been extended. This is a very golden opportunity. So we are appealing to all taxpayers who are in arrears arising from audit or compliance, measures, or for some other reasons. Please take advantage. And when you take advantage, we are also going to actually raise the needed revenue. Then the next one has to do with prosecution. Immediately after the amnesty, if we are able to find out that you are not paying your taxes, you are not taking steps, and you haven't also taken advantage of the amnesty, we ensure that we actually enforce action. So the prosecution unit is, ready to actually do a lot of prosecutions. Then there are other enforcement measures that we intend doing. Is that okay? Yeah, placing garnishee orders on persons' account if they are, it is established that they owe taxes and they are not, paying. Then we also would ensure that we conduct much more audits than we are doing.
Okay.
You get it? So that we can raise, the revenue. And we are also counting on you to help us with your platform to actually send messages that Ghana is the only country that we have. And if we must build Ghana, we need to actually have, some kind of unity in trying to actually forge ahead, knowing very well that it is revenue that builds nation.
Dominic Naab, thank you very, very much for joining us. And Dominic Naab is Assistant Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority, who is a technical aide to the Commissioner General. We're grateful that you made time to join us this morning for This is all important conversation on tax education. Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, just a quick one. If you look at the law, employees are now required to file their tax returns. Employees. Hitherto, it was the employers who was filing, or employers who were filing on their behalf. But the law has since been amended to require that all employees. So we have up to 30th April.
Okay.
Is that okay to file? So we are counting on all Ghanaians. Please, employees, let's file our tax returns and help raise money and build a better nation.
All right, sir, let's file our tax returns and help raise money to build a better nation. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us. We are right back.
Today's news. The Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service and partners are reminding you of the upcoming National COVID-19 Vaccination Days from Wednesday 2nd to Sunday 6 February 2022. Don't miss this if you are yet to be vaccinated or due for a second dose. The following vaccines have been authorized by FDA: Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, given to 18-year-olds and above, while Pfizer is for 15-year-olds and above. The welcoming news is that pregnant women are now eligible to receive Moderna or Pfizer vaccines. These vaccines are available at health centers and vaccination posts in your neighborhood. The vaccines are safe, effective, and free. They reduce COVID-19 disease, its severity, and prevent hospitalization and